Hello, everyone. It is officially Wednesday, November 12th. I hope you're over your 11/11 hangover and wishing your ass off. It is Supernatural News with Parashare. I'm your host, Tim Dennis, and I need a co-hostess. So I will simply reach my hand across. Is it that place where the Edmund Fitzgerald sunk? Would that be Lake Superior? I don't know what lake we're reaching our hand across, but we're going to that state that looks like a mitten, of course, Michigan, and we're reaching out to one of my bestest buds of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, would she be the mistress of the macabre herself, Mallie
Ooh,
Fox?
I like that one.
Yeah, hi,
Except though,
Mallie.
isn't it Elvira? Is she
Maybe,
Mistress of the Macabre?
maybe I'm stealing it from her. She's not going to need it much longer. Here's
Yeah. Oh,
Mallie Fox.
stop!
I'm sorry.
I wish I had her tatas though. They're really
Well,
perky for her age.
I wish I had them too. I'm okay to have them. What do I mean by that? I don't know what I
Stop.
mean. She's still pretty good looking for her age, you know.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
I think her house was haunted, wasn't it? I think I saw a story not too long ago where her house was haunted.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you gotta get inspiration from somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed. Boy, do we have a big show today. By the way, we can catch up real quick. You have a good week, good weekend.
I did, and I'm trying to think what the heck I did, but no, I don't remember. I know it was busy, but I'm trying to think why it was busy. I don't know. I can't keep my head straight anymore. It's just a big whirlwind.
Oh, I'm sure with fall, there's a ton of things going on, especially with kids. There's a ton of things.
Oh my gosh, with the kids, yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I was jammed up with in between research for the show and screaming at my screen. There were a lot of things going on. I had more of a relaxing weekend this weekend, which is good. Every once in a while, I don't get very many relaxing weekends. I don't think people realize I spend my weekends doing research and working. I work on my weekends. But this weekend was a lighter weekend, a lighter work weekend. So I didn't work as hard this weekend. So I actually got some rest this weekend, which is good. I'm kind of rejuvenated after this weekend. It was feeling good this week. Yeah. So,
Oh, I can tell you my dilemma. I remembered what I did. I went to this antique store and they have, okay, so I buy a lot of antiques. I have my thing is buy the weird stuff.
Yeah.
So my house is full of odd things. So when it's my time to go, if I ever have an estate sale, my house is the weird one, right?
Okay.
Unless my kids want it. So I'm hoping that my daughter will take everything.
Okay.
Because she's kind of like us. So anyway, they have a battering ram from medieval time for sale.
What?
Now, he said he got it in England, but that's like the only documentation that it's from the medieval times and it's from England that this guy has it from, but that's like the only paperwork we have. It's not from like, it doesn't tell us like what castles he stormed with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we keep thinking about it, Derek and I, because we're like, oh, do we spend the $700 with the guy's just word, do we trust him with what he says? Because he sells a lot of antiques, a lot of stuff from Europe. Do we trust him and spend the money? Don't know.
Yes, you do. Because here's the deal. It's still functional, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a medieval like torture device because when I was in England and I was at the Dungeon of Terror or whatever it was, it looked like that spike that they used to hang the person over, like, kind of like, ouch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the big spear thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's $700 though. And all it is like this wood thing with a metal tip thing and bolts and whatever.
Yep.
But it's, Derek's like, well, we could send the metal and the wood to someone to analyze it. Is it hundreds of years old? Because he watches Oak Island.
Yep.
So it's like, can we get it analyzed? And so we were thinking about it. We were going to go back and we didn't yet because then also there's a lady there that her dad before it became illegal. I mean, there's some items there she can't sell because it's like feathers and stuff.
Yeah.
But he used to go to the Amazon, so he brought back like all of these like masks and things like that. And supposedly his daughter inherited the stuff. She doesn't want it, and so they were storing it in like this barn on her property. And she had some paranormal investigators go to her barn, and two of the masks got reactions when they investigated, and she's gone for sale. Well, she has at least one for sale. The other one, the guy couldn't tell me if she had it for sale or not because there's no price on it, but she was
Okay.
coming in the next day as well.
Huh.
And it's really freaky looking, and
Okay.
I want it, but
Yep.
I'm sure it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, but I want it.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, so those were my two items where I'm like, oh, you know,
Okay.
another haunted item. Do I want it in my house? Do I trust her? Do I, you know what I mean? So I want to like bring something with me to see if like it goes off if I go near the mask. I don't know.
You get
But
a
then there's a mask that's like cheap. I mean, it's cheaper,
yeah.
but do I take their word for it that it's haunted? I don't know.
So you get a vibe off the more expensive mask, right?
Of course, because oh my God, that thing gave me the creeps. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna be like super expensive.
Okay. So
But Derek really wants a battering ram.
he really wants a battering, but you
Oh
can't
yeah, he wants the medieval battering ram.
can't get both, or can you?
Well, I could, but
Okay.
well, I don't know because I don't know how much the mask is, the Amazon mask. Because
Huh.
she has documentation because it's actually from a Sotheby. She's got catalogs that some of the things were in a Sotheby catalog
Oh, well
because
then.
it's her dad's collection. Then he passed away. I mean, some of the things he actually got, and then some like were in a catalog, Sotheby catalog.
So there's some legitimacy to this.
Yes,
Okay.
so that's why I know some things are going to be expensive.
Well, but maybe again, maybe there's bickering to be done here, right?
I know.
Because again, she wants to try and unload it. I mean, how much of a clientele really is out there to buy this stuff, right? And
I know.
right.
That's why I'm not telling anybody what antique store I went to.
Exactly. Don't say a word. Um, just maybe you can talk her down slightly and just say, hey, here's the deal. Maybe you can put together a little package deal with her and just say, if we take them both, how much if we take them both?
Oh, but the battering ram is from another guy because it's one of those things where it's like
Oh, it's from,
different.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's like almost like an antique mall kind of.
Oh gosh, look at that.
You know, each stall is like an antique
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
dealer.
Mm. Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if I had an unlimited budget, I would have bought like a bazillion things from there because
Oh,
they had a lot of interesting things. But yeah, so I want the haunted Amazon antique mask, and Derek wants the medieval battering ram.
yeah.
Welcome to my home. So
Hey,
anyway,
that's
that was my weekend. So I've been pondering, and I was supposed to go back on Sunday, and I didn't.
no, nothing wrong with that. Well,
I know I got busy, kids.
I got it. Yeah, I get you. I get you. But you can always go back, sometime this
I
weekend
know.
or even on the weekend and just say, hey, you know what? Things got busy because I'm sure it's not like they had a big run on the antique mall, right?
Yeah, right.
Especially with the way the economy is these days. So,
I know. And then
you
I
know,
know the logical me is like, okay, I really should be saving my money. I shouldn't be wasting it on that stuff, plus holidays, and I should be responsible.
well, but it's not like the kids are going to take up a collection and get that for both of you for Christmas. So
I
someone's
know.
for you, right?
I
So
know.
it'll be you.
But kids are expensive. I should be spending it on them though.
And well, they have enough. They've gotten enough over the years. This is playing devil's advocate. Um,
I'm sure all the guys are like battering ram, battering ram.
battering ram. Um, I'm a horrible, horrible person. So here's the deal. You can just tell the kids, listen, here's the deal. Economy's tough. Pick one thing for Christmas. Then go get that mask and go get that battering ram. Right.
Yeah.
And just say, listen, the scary mask will keep you company all year round.
Oh, I probably can't tell the kids about the scary mask though.
Oh, sure you can. Yeah. And that's
Well, my
okay.
office is right next to Luke's bedroom, and I don't want him freaked out.
Well, that's perfect. You got a new
No.
little playmate.
Oh. I might have to hide it in the bedroom, and I might have to hide it in the basement in a locked case until he moves out of the house, and then I'll pull it up from the basement.
Oh, that's no fun. You can say, just say, hey, Luke, do you like Annabelle? Well, guess what?
I'll start touring the country with my mask, my Amazon mask.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? This is just like Annabelle. Let's name it. You want to name it? It'll be a family activity.
Yeah. You thought our house was haunted now. Just wait.
Yeah. Like it. Like what Mom brought home.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Family activities.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it,
exactly.
Yeah. You don't
Let's see what's gonna levitate today.
Yeah. And if you don't like it, Dad's got a battering ram for you.
Yeah, exactly. I could see Luke with the battering ram like running down our neighborhood street.
See, it all works out, Mal. It all
Yeah.
works out in the end, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Christmas is going to be epic this year.
Yeah.
Just follow my plan here. I got it all planned out. I really do.
Sorry, I got us off topic, but that was that was my weekend.
Perfectly on topic. It's all haunted stuff. It's all good.
That is true.
Yeah. No, we're perfectly on topic. We didn't hear it all.
Storming the castle and haunted mask.
That's right. That should be the name of the show today. The Storming the Castle and Haunted Mask edition of Supernatural.
Yeah.
I may name it that. I don't know. I never know what I'm going to name it until I look at the stories for the week. All right. Well, we got plenty on tap today. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Of course, 3-Eye Atlas is going to be in the news today. So, of course, we're going to talk about that. We got some NDE news today as well. We're going to talk AI eventually. That's going to come up. There is in the AI news, a woman's report of a St. Pete home invasion and assault was fabricated with an AI photo. That's actually going to come up in today's, that's actually going to come up in today's AI news. A little bit of an AI interesting story. We may talk Deathbots as well today, because that's kind of a fun story to talk about as well. Like I said, we are going to talk, NDEs, and we will talk about the Savannah Theater, which there's a feature on the Savannah Theater that came up this week that we'll talk about too. And as we get a little bit deeper into the program, we will talk about how humans used to sleep in two parts. They had first sleep and second sleep, much like first dinner and second dinner.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll talk about how we sleep in different parts. Now it's just you sack out, you get up, you feel like you haven't slept.
Basically.
I was told that there's a reason for that.
Oh.
When you wake up and you feel like you haven't slept?
Yeah.
Did you know that's supposedly connected to high blood pressure?
Oh, no. I just thought it was you just didn't go into a deep sleep.
Yeah, no. Supposedly it's connected to potential high blood pressure and heart issues.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird. I thought it was my dog's always constantly moving.
No. Turns out that's the reason, which is a little...
Yeah, that's not good. That's alarming.
Right. And our palate cleanser today has everything to do with breakfast.
Ooh, I love breakfast.
Well, you may or may not after the story.
Oh, is it gross?
No. It's not a gross story.
Okay.
It's kind of has a happy ending.
Okay. We like happy endings. Oh, wait.
There's one for the button bar. All right. So we'll talk about happy endings today, whether it be now or later. Oh, yeah. Okay, anyway, so let's start the show. Let's talk 3-Eye Atlas, shall we? Someone had told me earlier in the last week, that, oh no, that 3-Eye Atlas thing is over because supposedly it's slowed down to a crawl and it's done. And I said, you can't just believe anything anybody says. Because then I checked into it and it didn't just slow to a crawl and it dissipated. Because we would have heard about it. Right? It would have been a major news story. So, no, you can't believe what anybody just tells you. But it is still going. And there's supposedly something that interrupted it. It didn't slow to a crawl, but there's something that kind of dropped in the middle of it.
Okay.
Which, how can it be a spaceship if something just drops in the middle of it?
Yeah, true.
I mean, I don't buy the whole spaceship. I'm still not. But let's recap for a minute, shall we? By now, just about everyone's heard about Three Eye Atlas. It's this interstellar object thought by most scientists to be a comet, and yours truly thinks it's a comet. I won't speak for Mallie. Mallie, I'll tell you what she thinks it is.
It's a comet.
There you go. Okay. But it's been passing through our solar system in recent months. Most of the intrigue surrounding this object comes courtesy of a vocal minority, including Harvard's Professor Avi Loeb and now Michio Kaku, who says, spaceship, aliens. They believe that there is a reasonable chance that Three Eye Atlas could, in fact, be an artificially constructed object controlled by an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. Eyebrows were further raised earlier this week when it was revealed via NASA that this intriguing interstellar interloper, in fact, changed its trajectory unexpectedly, and it also sped up. NASA also reportedly confirmed that the object had shifted course beyond gravity's control. Elsewhere, Avi Loeb had noted that new photographs from the R-Naves Observatory in Spain that Three Eye Atlas does not appear to have a large tail as it would be expected for a comet, and that it had reached this close to the sun. So in other words, the tail isn't as large as it would be for a comet, but it had a shorter tail. Okay, so it's a comet with a short tail. Let's not get all excited. He also highlighted his existing list of anomalies concerning the object, including the fact that it seems to align almost perfectly with the ecliptical plane of the planets around the sun, which is a 0.2% likelihood. The fact that it appears to have an anomalously massive nucleus and that its gas plume consists of a far more nickel than iron substance, something potentially indicative of industrial production. He also notes that it seems to be originated from the same direction as the mysterious Wow signal. At one point, I think he said it even probably originated the Wow signal. Given that Three Eye Atlas will reach its closest approach to the Earth on December 19th, again, we don't have much time. We may not have too much longer to wait before we can find out for sure if it actually is a comet or there really is something strange about this curious interstellar visitor. Now, the latest update is that a brand new celestial visitor is cutting a path through our solar system. Not that that's the brand new update, but the brand new update is that there is something called C20 or 20. Let me get it right. C2025 V1 Borisov. That mystery object is detected between Earth and Three Eye Atlas. So something has gone right through the, right in the middle.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the question is C2025 V1 Borisov just a comet? God, no. And how does it compare to the alien probe, as they're calling it, Three Eye Atlas? This is by the way, published by International Business Times. So a brand new celestial visitor is cutting a path through our solar system, but its greatest value may not be in what it hides, but in what it reveals about its controversial interstellar counterpart. For months, Three Eye Atlas has fueled public fascination and scientific heresy alike, thanks to the claim of, again, Avi Loeb, that it may be a piece of alien technology. However, the recent detection of this new comet, C2025 V1 Borisov, provides astronomers with a much-needed control experiment. So they have something to bounce this off of, right? Mm-hmm. Discovered speeding through the region between Earth and Three Eye Atlas, this highly conventional comet is showing exactly what a normal space rock should look like during its close approach. In doing so, it starkly underlines just how truly bizarre the anomalies of the interstellar visitor are, intensifying debate and the scrutiny. The key to understanding the fear surrounding Three Eye Atlas is understanding the typical physics of comets, a rule book that C2025 V1 Borisov follows almost to the letter. The newly detected object originates from the distant Oort cloud, which is a vast spherical shell of icy debris surrounding our solar system. Because it originated here, C2025 V1 Borisov is gravitationally bound to our sun, differentiating it from fundamentally from the extrasolar or interstellar 3I Atlas. So they're really not the same. They're a little bit different. They're, one is from outer space, one is from here, interstellar. Let's see. There's more here. Its highly eccentric orbit is still gravitationally predictable, contrasting sharply with the hyperbolic trajectory of 3I Atlas, which proves its extrasolar origin and demands an explanation from its lack of cometary activity. Its detection currently places it moving along a trajectory between Earth and 3I Atlas. Now, the comet will make its closest approach to Earth on November 11th, 2025, which was 2 days ago, at a distance of 103 million kilometers or 0.68 AU. The icy rock is currently positioned in the constellation of Virgo with observed magnitude, or COBS, Comet Observers Database, of 13.8 or a coma diameter of 2.3. Now, I know it makes no sense to any of us. I don't expect you to know it or regurgitate it on a test. Don't worry about it. C2025 V1 Borisov's most telling feature is its predictability. Its behavior conforms to established physics, displaying the expected coma and tail, which, while small, is present. So again, this has a smaller tail too. So we should get excited about the fact that 3I Atlas has a small tail. All right. It says here, this is the exact opposite of 3I Atlas, which is defying the natural passive behavior that C2025 V1 Borisov exemplifies. There is some contrast here to the matter. And I'll tell you just briefly what that is. The presence of this textbook Oort cloud comet serves as an essential purpose. It highlights the vast difference between gravitationally bound objects, even those on eccentric orbits like Borisov. We'll abbreviate it here so I don't have to say it over and over again. And the hyperbolic, clearly extrasolar trajectory of 3I Atlas. The scrutiny on 3I Atlas is intensifying precisely because it is displaying profound physical and kinetic anomalies. These anomalies, which include a pronounced lack of a gaseous tail and recorded signs of non-gravitational acceleration, are the foundation of Professor Loeb's theory that the object is an extraterrestrial technological product. Now, 3I Atlas is changing its speeds without the aid of a gravitational pull, a fact that hints at purposeful propulsion. Borisov gives astronomers a demonstration of a normal solar system comet, taking 3I Atlas's confirmed non-gravitational acceleration and the lack of a tail, and it makes it seem all the more anomalous by direct comparison. The orbital elements of Borisov, per the JPL small body database, confirms its less exotic nature. While speculation linking celestial objects to a sinister alien mothership often hyped on social media, the routine nature and physical characteristics of the Borisov comet reminds us that not every unusual movement in the sky is proof of an interstellar visitor. However, the data on 3I Atlas continues to defy easy explanation. So whether you dismiss Avi Loeb's theories as scientific heresy or embrace the possibility of an interstellar observer, the anomalous behavior of 3I Atlas remains a genuine astronomical mystery. The arrival of Borisov only underscores the truly peculiar nature of its interstellar counterparts. So as we track both objects in real time, the debate and scrutiny will only intensify. Now, here's the thing, Mallie. They both have short tails. So you can't say that the short tail means alien object, right? As far as 3I Atlas goes. Okay, so 3I Atlas sped up on its own, but it also went around the sun. So by going around the sun, it could have slingshotted around the sun and gained speed, right? I mean, there's many other things that could have happened here that could have caused it to, I don't know. I think comet. I just think it's a comet. I don't think we should get excited. But, if the thing lands on the White House lawn and demands to help President Trump build his ballroom, okay, fine. Then I'm wrong. I'll demand I'm wrong at that point. Other than that, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. In other news, Chinese astronauts are stranded in space after debris hits their return capsule.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah. They're going to be up there for a little while. A team of Chinese astronauts, part of the Shenzhou 20 mission, is currently stranded at the Tiangong space station after their return capsule was struck by space debris. The China Manned Space Agency announced on Wednesday that the crew, consisting of Commander Chen Dong, fighter pilot Chen Zhanggrui, and engineer Wang Ji, was scheduled to return to Earth on Wednesday, but will remain in space while engineers assess the damage and conduct risk evaluations. The incident occurred just hours before the crew was set to depart. The CMSA is analyzing the situation to ensure the safety of the astronauts and has not yet provided details on its extent of the damage. If the return capsule is deemed irreparable, the Shenzhou 20 crew may use the Shenzhou 21 team's capsule to return to Earth, that according to protocol. The Shenzhou 20 crew has been aboard the Tiangong space station since April, conducting various tasks, including scientific experiments and repairs. The replacements, the Shenzhou 21 team, successfully docked with the station on October 31st. Space debris is an increasing hazard in low Earth orbit, and the CMSA is considering rescue plans to ensure the crew's safe return. The situation is reminiscent of past incidents involving space debris, highlighting the growing concern over space junk and potential impact on space missions. The CMSA has not specified when the Shenzhou 20 crew will return to Earth, having their mission extended indefinitely as further assessments are made. The agency is committed to ensuring the astronaut safety and resolving the issue as swiftly as possible. So a little bit more time for that crew.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good thing. Mystery drones are spotted over base housing U.S. nuclear weapons. Now, this whole thing about drones kind of having their way over top secret locations has been kind of unnerving. Belgian Air Force Base officials have confirmed that these incursions, which occurred in 2 waves, did indeed take place. Concerns have been raised this week following the appearance of several unidentified drones over Belgium's Klein-Brogel Air Base, which houses about 10 to 20 U.S. B-61 nuclear weapons. According to Belgium's defense minister, Theo Franken, the incidents occurred on Saturday and Sunday night in 2 distinct waves, one involving small drones and one involving larger drones. The devices were also reportedly capable of evading interception and radar detection. It seems a spy operation by whom I don't know, he said. It's not a drone that just happened across the military base. It was there for a long time, so it was definitely for spying. This was not a simple flyover, but a clear attack targeting Klein-Brogel. It is not clear who is responsible for the drone sightings. The drone incursion are by no means the first mystery drones who have been showing up in the vicinity of air bases across the world in recent years. There's also a history of alleged UFO sightings around nuclear bases in the U.S. and elsewhere. Some speculate that Putin could be responsible for the recent drone sightings, while others think China could be behind the phenomenon. Whatever the case, without an effective way to nuclearize, without an effective way to neutralize small drones, incidents such as this are likely to keep happening well into the future. Not a good thing, especially, I mentioned probably about a month or two ago, 60 Minutes had a story on about how the U.S. government has absolutely no way to defend against small drones spying on top secret sites. And one of them was nuclear sites. And the fact that small drones can just fly right in. And when several generals were asked, well, how do you defend against this technology? They just had this blank look and went, We don't.
That's scary.
Yeah. And I mean, you can't, by the time these drones come in and they move out, you can't scatter fighter pilots.
Mm-hmm.
It's just impossible. And it's unnerving. They're starting countermeasures like their own drone forces to fight these things, but it's just scary how wide open this technology is, and how quick you can strike with it. So, mm-hmm. I've got a story here, Mallie, about how researchers mathematically have disproven the simulated universe theory. I don't know if you remember this theory or not, but scientists now believe that they have finally disproven the idea that we are all living in a simulated universe. In other words, like living in the Matrix.
Right.
The line here is, what if we told you that the world you live in isn't real? It might sound like a concept straight out of the Keanu Reeves science fiction favorite, The Matrix. But according to some of the world's top minds, the idea that we are living inside a computer simulation is not only possible, but perhaps even more likely that the idea that we are living in the real world. Efforts to prove that this is the case have been ongoing for years, but now a group of scientists has reportedly found a way to mathematically prove that we are definitely not living in a simulation. They've done this by showing that the fundamental nature of reality operates in a way that no computer could ever be capable of simulating. It has been suggested that the universe could be simulated if such a simulation were possible. The simulated universe could give itself rise to life, which in turn might create its own simulation. Are you confused yet? Because I am.
Just a tiny bit, but I've never been a fan of the idea of a simulation.
I haven't either. This was according to Dr. Mir Faisal, who is the adjunct professor with UBC Okanagan's Irving K. Barber Faculty of Science, which is the longest title I will read today. He says the recursive possibility makes it seem highly unlikely that our universe is the original one, rather than a simulation nested within another simulation. I'm glad he can keep it straight. This idea was once thought to lie beyond the reach of scientific inquiry. However, our recent research has demonstrated that it can, in fact, be scientifically addressed. The specifics of the team's mathematical proof are rather technical, but generally center around proving that a complete and consistent description of everything requires non-algorithmic understanding. We have demonstrated that it is impossible to describe all aspects of physical reality using a computational theory of quantum gravity, said Dr. Faisal. By the way, I love his Amazon show, Dr. Faisal and his amazing lounge singers, or whatever that show is. It's a great show. Therefore, no physically complete and consistent theory of everything can be derived from computation alone, according to Dr. Faisal. Rather, it requires a non-algorithmic understanding, which is more fundamental than the computational laws of quantum gravity, and therefore more fundamental than space-time itself. If you are not thoroughly confused at the end of this article, then you are not getting out of the house enough, as far as I'm concerned. So there you go. All right. Another article to slightly confuse you, but not really. I think you can follow this one probably more than the last one. The expansion of the universe may be slowing down, according to a new study. I bet you didn't know it was expanding that fast.
No, I did not.
You probably can't feel it from where you're sitting, Mallie, but it is. Physicists have cast doubt on the long-held notion that the expansion of the universe is accelerating. Back in 1929, Edwin Hubble, the man after which the Hubble Space Telescope is named, observationally confirmed that the universe is not static, but in fact is constantly expanding. More recently, observations by modern telescopes have indicated that the universe isn't just expanding, but is actually doing so at an ever-accelerating rate. Now, however, new research has turned that idea on its head, instead indicating that the expansion of the universe is not actually accelerating at all, but it is, in fact, getting slower. I think that would help us all if we just slow down just a bit.
I think we're all tired.
I think we're all slowing down, I think. There's also evidence to suggest that dark energy, which is the mysterious form of energy thought to be responsible for the universe's expansion, is getting weaker over time. I think we all are.
We need more protein.
That's right. You're right, Mallie. A lot more protein. Maybe an Ensure. Ensure is a good thing. Yeah. The universe needs more Ensure.
Mm-hmm.
Our study shows that the universe has already entered a phase of decelerated expansion at the present epoch, and that dark energy evolves with time much more rapidly than previously thought, said study lead author Professor Young-Wook Lee of Yonsei University in South Korea. If these results are confirmed, it would mark a major paradigm shift in cosmology since the discovery of dark energy 27 years ago. The new research calls into question the original method used to determine that the universe's expansion is accelerating, which involved observations of certain types of exploding stars. At the time, it was assumed that the light emitted by these objects was uniform, and thus it was possible to calculate how fast different parts of the universe were receding. Now, those scientists argue that the differences in light observed from these objects may simply be down to natural variations, thus invalidating the original accelerated expansion idea. I lost you again, didn't I, Mallie?
A tiny bit.
Okay, that's all right. We're almost done. By contrast, their own recent findings seem to suggest that the complete opposite is happening. Further analysis and study, however, will be needed to confirm whether or not this is truly the case. In other words, the universe is slowing down. We're all getting a little older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything's slowing down. So we're not rapidly building out. Let's just put it this way: things are getting more expensive, so we can't afford to rapidly accelerate the universe. You know,
mm-hmm. Cost of wood's going up.
That's right. The cost of wood is going up. Inflation is even affecting the universe. So there you go. Boy, I've got an interesting story here as we're getting close to the break. I've got two, one interesting and one kind of yikes. But maybe the guy deserves it because look what he's driving. That's how we'll end the segment. Here's the interesting one. A British woman believes that she's an extraterrestrial entity. Rosanna Hannes.
Rosanna. What was that one from Saturday Night Live? Rosanna
Dana.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say for a second.
Yes, Rosanna Dana is an alien. God rest her soul, because she's not with us.
Yes, right. Yes. R.I.P.
She is part of the universe now.
Mm-hmm.
Rosanna Hannes is one of a quite sizable group of people who believe that they are literal aliens from another world. It might sound strange, but there exists thousands of people around the world known as starseeds who are convinced that they are in fact extraterrestrials, either from other worlds or other dimensions, who believe that they have come to Earth and now inhabit a human body. Rosanna Hannes, a woman who lives in Brighton, England, believes that she is one such individual. Now, in a recent interview with The Sun, she explained that she had always had a fascination with dreams and the unexplained, and had previously had a premonition about the death of her uncle. I've had vivid dreams where I was soaring high above buildings, open country, and the ocean, she said. It was so vivid, it felt like it was real. The dreams didn't frighten me. In fact, I loved them. But when I told my friends about them, they seemed confused. In later life, she became convinced that she was in fact a member of a technologically advanced alien race and that her home planet was somewhere in the Pleiades, about 440 light years away. My memories had been wiped before traveling to Earth to help me acclimate, she said. But I knew what I needed to do on Earth, overcome my own challenges and teach others through my example. It's my job to help others get in touch with their highest self and fulfill their soul purpose, she said. To most other people, this might sound completely nonsensical, but ultimately we really have no way of knowing for sure whether there is any truth to this or not. It is perhaps not outside the realms of possibility, especially if you happen to believe in reincarnation, that someone might be an alien in their past life. Given that there are thousands of people with similar beliefs around the world, the starseeds phenomenon is likely to remain a topic of debate and intrigue for years to come. So let me ask you, Mallie, does it ring true to you that you could have potentially had a past life on an alien world?
I personally don't think I have, but I could see other people thinking that they have.
There is a group that I used to meet with here in the Twin Cities at one time that we'd get together and we'd share. It was a group that was headed by a psychic here. And the psychic would do readings for everybody, and it included past life readings. And she would do past life readings for everyone. And there were quite a few people in the group that had past lives on other worlds. I was not one of them. I never had a past life on another world. And it didn't ring true for me. To me, it kind of rang hollow. It felt like a storybook, right? Or like a far-fetched story. To me, it I never want to crap on someone else's story, right?
Right.
But to me, it feels like fantasy. But I'd never want to tell that to the person who it rings true with, because you'd see people in the group feeding off each other almost. Like they'd be like, I remember that, and I remember this and that situation in this building and that building. You remember going to go do this and that. And it was almost like they were world building, as they were sitting and talking about it. But you didn't know what was a real memory and what was role playing, right?
Right.
I couldn't tell which was which. And like I said, you never want to shoot down somebody's truth. And at that time, to them, it felt like their truth. So I didn't want to say, "Oh, come on, you guys are playing," right? Or
right.
You guys are full of shit, right? I never wanted to say that, because my own past lives had some pretty extraordinary stuff. But who am I to say, mine's just completely true, but yours is completely false.
Right.
I guess it is what it is. Right. All right. One more before we go to break. Oh, by the way, before we go to this next story, have you ever had a past life reading? And what was the wildest thing if you want to share, what was the wildest thing that came up?
I've never had a past life reading.
No?
No, with all of the connections I've had, I've never had a past life reading. Are
you interested in getting one?
Sometimes I think about it, because sometimes I feel like I'm drawn to certain areas and certain things. But I wouldn't turn it down. But yeah, I've never had a past life reading. So yeah.
Have you ever been in an area that you feel like you've lived there before?
I am drawn to Scotland very much. Like just the air, just kind of like the whole feeling of it. But I mean, that's basically it.
Okay.
Just kind of like the culture and stuff, but yeah.
Okay.
Not a specific like house or place or anything, just kind of the area. Like when I'm there, I feel like I'm home,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's because, that's where my family is from.
Yeah.
When I did my family tree.
Yep.
But
yep.
I don't know.
Do you feel like...
Have you had yours done?
I have.
Oh yeah, I think you have had yours done. Well, yeah, because you just said it. Hello.
Yeah, I in fact have had it done a couple of times.
Okay.
Do you feel like you've had many past lives, or maybe a few? Do you feel like you've many times before, just a few times before?
Good question. I don't know. I don't think I've had a lot. I don't feel like I've had a lot.
Okay.
I feel like I'm an old soul, but if you were to ask me I feel like I feel like I'm an old soul, but I couldn't tell you like how many lives I've had.
Okay.
Like I don't know. It's weird to say. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Maybe we'll have to line that up for you. You don't have to tell us anything after you've had it done, but
Oh, I mean, I don't care. I mean,
it'd just be interesting to line it up for you,
yeah,
just to say you've done it.
yeah. I do find it interesting how like a bazillion people have said they're like Cleopatra or they're like, you know what I mean? Like certain people are like, oh, I was this extravagant person. I'm probably like the person that handed the toilet paper to the king. You know what I mean? Like that. I'm probably,
You were the
like,
you were the piss girl. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I emptied the buckets, but or I was the prostitute or something. Just,
Oh no, no, no. No.
you know, town whore.
The town
But
whore. No.
yeah.
God, Mallie, no. You were the bar wench.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you
Probably why
probably
I like making cocktails.
yeah.
But
No, I think you probably had a much livelier past life than that. Um, but yeah, I think we let me delve. Let me find out.
yeah.
I'm sure I'll run across someone.
But I can't be hypnotized though, just to let you know.
I don't know. It doesn't
Oh,
necessarily
that was my
involve,
computer, sorry.
no, it doesn't necessarily involve hypnotism.
Mm.
It,
Yeah, because they've tried to hypnotize me and I can't because my brain won't shut up.
yeah, it doesn't necessarily involve hypnotism. In fact, I've told the story before. One of the times that they tried to put me under deep hypnosis.
Hmm.
I had to be brought out of it. In fact, I underwent. Well, I'll tell it again just briefly. It was early '90s. I was seeing a men's therapist,
Hmm.
just dealing with some childhood stuff. Um, and it was suggested that I go see a men's therapist. So I was talking to a men's therapist, and he said, "I think we need to regress you to
Hmm.
uh, to earlier in your childhood to find out what kind of trauma you went through that was causing certain things." So he wanted to regress me, um, and I believe he regressed me to a point where I was killed in a past life
Ooh.
because he said I was speaking a language he didn't understand, and
Oh.
he said whatever happened was so traumatic. He said I was speaking in a foreign language and I was screaming and crying. Like I was in meltdown mode, and he had a hard time bringing me out of it. And he said at that point, he thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. But he managed to get me out of it. And he said, I'm not doing that again. He was afraid to put me back under. Um, but he didn't recognize the language.
Hmm.
Um, I said, you didn't recognize it at all? He said, no, whatever it was ancient. So I don't know if it was Aramaic. I don't know what it was,
Hmm.
um, but I was speaking something.
Right.
Um, he said it wasn't, and I asked him what languages he knew. He knew Spanish. He was down at the University of Minnesota,
Right.
so he knew
Okay.
basic languages. He knew
Yeah.
Spanish. I think he knew Spanish, German, and something else. Um, but he knew some basic languages. But he said there wasn't anything he knew. So,
Hmm.
um, so yeah. But he said I would not do that again. I didn't go back to see him after that. I was freaked out. I knew when I woke up, my stomach muscles and chest muscles hurt for a week.
Like they were super tight.
Like I had almost pulled them all from whatever he
Mm.
did. Whatever. I don't know if I don't know how hard I was screaming and crying, but
Hmm.
it was pretty violent.
Hmm.
Um. So yeah, I don't think he had to restrain me, but
Right.
I don't know what was going on, but
Yeah.
so he hit a vein somewhere.
Right.
He regressed me somewhere. Um, And I've had other situations where I had a healer tell me, he kind of a medical healer. He said, well, I can tell you have an issue, right? I was telling him I was having an issue with my back, with my mid back. Mm-hmm. He said, well, I can take care of that. He said that particular issue is from a past life. And he told me it's from, you were a samurai and you served a master and you died in that life. You died serving him. You died young. And you have immense guilt for dying in that life. You felt like you didn't serve him properly. Like you shouldn't have died. You should have continued serving him. He said, I need to pull out the 14 swords that caused your death.
14?
Like, yeah, I was.
What do they do? Use you as a pin cushion?
Yeah, basically. I was run through 14 different swords, on a battlefield. Basically, I got stuck from all angles. So he basically pulled these 14 swords out of my stomach region. And as he's pulling these swords out of my stomach, I'm sitting in a chair. He had me sit, and he's got his foot. He's standing up. He's got his foot, on the chair between my legs, and he's yanking him out of a stone, and my stomach is expanding, like my stomach's going to explode.
Right.
And I'm like, I feel like I'm going to explode. And he goes, bear with me. And as he's pulling, my stomach's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And as he gets to I'm counting the amount of swords he's pulling. And as he gets to like number 11, my stomach is starting to slowly recede. And as he gets 12, 13, and 14, he pulls 14 and he throws it. And he goes there. And my stomach just like a balloon that had just popped. And the pain went away. And he said, you're now free from that debt.
Weird.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's something to past lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's definitely something to past lives. So.
Interesting.
So you don't have to necessarily be hypnotized to figure out.
Right.
Some people can see them without having to hypnotize you. Mm. Yeah. It's kind of an interesting little gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have to find the right people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Our last story before we go to break. This driver had an interesting little incident happen. Sometimes we're driving along in the road, we pick up a rock, hits our windshield, cracks a windshield, right? Mm-hmm. This driver got a scare when a meteorite hit the windscreen of his Tesla.
Ooh.
Yeah. In fact, here's a little picture of what it looked like. Boom, when it hit the windscreen.
Dang.
Yeah. That's kind of a thing you hope insurance covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little meteorite hit my Tesla. The terrifying incident occurred out of the blue while a veterinarian was driving back to his home in South Australia. Dr. Andrew Melville Smith, who hails from Wawa, had been heading home in his brand new Tesla Model Y recently when a sudden loud crash prompted him to hit the brakes. I thought we'd crashed, he said. I was in shock. I remember wiping glass particles from my face and being completely disoriented. After he had managed to compose himself, he realized that something had struck his windscreen, spreading small fragments of glass all over the inside of the car. Far from being something he had crashed into, however, it looked as though something hot had fallen from the sky and struck the car with such force that part of the glass had actually melted.
Oh.
Melted, Mallie.
Wow.
Yeah. Incredibly, it seemed as though a meteorite may have been to blame. Dr. Melville Smith had been incredibly lucky, or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, as he had been traveling at 68 miles per hour at the time, and it was dark out. So it was a miracle that he had managed to stop safely. The space rock itself must have bounced off, as there was no sign of it in the car. Keen to get a second opinion, he decided to approach the South Australian Museum about the incident. Once I looked at all the details in the glass of his windscreen, it seems to have melted a little bit, and the acrylic layers in the glass have discoloration, almost like they've been burnt, said Museum Minerals and Meteorites Collection Manager Dr. Kieran Meaney. It was certainly hit by something, and it was something hot, and we don't have another good explanation for what else it could have been. If confirmed, this will be the first case ever of a meteorite striking a motor vehicle and moving vehicle. The odds of this happening, by the way, of a meteorite striking a moving vehicle are probably around 1,000,000,000 to 1. That's incredible. You have better odds of hitting the lottery than a moving meteor hitting your vehicle. And a meteor hitting your moving vehicle. It's hard to imagine, right? I can't fathom it. Like just driving along and all of a sudden a meteor hits your moving vehicle. I
want to survive it.
Yeah, and then to survive it on top of it, to not have it cave in your vehicle is I don't know. It's unbelievable. All right. On the other side of the break, we'll be talking near-death experiences. We'll be talking about Savannah ghosts. We'll also be talking about, I got an interesting story here about Frankenstein's monster and if it could actually function in real life. It's an interesting one. Got that coming up. Also, the world's largest spider web was discovered in a cave in Europe. Are you kind of icky and ooky about spiders?
No, I'm not, but I hate walking through them at night.
Yeah. Yep. Well, imagine walking into this one.
Yeah.
What was it? Someone was telling me about, it was last week. It was our guest last week on last week's interview. They were telling me about these huge spider webs in North Carolina at the pagoda when they were out hunting Bigfoot. They said, biggest spider webs you'd ever imagine. And they were all creeped out about it. And I'm like, spider webs, really? They're like, but you got to see the size of the wolf spiders.
Oh.
Like, oh, yeah. That's why I like staying inside. I forgot all about it. That's right. I teased you earlier about how humans used to sleep in 2 parts. We'll talk about your first sleep and your second sleep. It's kind of like hobbits with first dinner and second dinner. I'll tell you about that. And your palate cleanser today is all about breakfast and second chances. We'll talk about that when we come back after the break. Supernatural news and Parashare. By the way, if you have a Parashare story that you'd like to send to us, your real supernatural encounters or encounters with the supernatural, you can do it one of 3 ways. You can send us an email, tim@darknessradio.com. You can go to our website, darknessradioshow.com. There's a little blue button on the right-hand side. Click on that button. You can send us a voice note. It's real simple to do. You have 2 minutes to do so. If you need more time, just click on that blue button a second time. Send us 2 more minutes. Rinse and repeat. You can keep doing it. Tell us your full story. I'll stitch it all together and play it right here on the show. Third way, if you have a studio like the one you're watching me on video right now, which, by the way, you can watch our videos at YouTube, the original Darkness Radio, or on darknessradioshow.com. Send us a video of you telling us your story. And we'll play it right here when we're doing Supernatural News on video. See, you got 3 different ways to tell us your Parashare story. We want your stories, folks. We want to see you, hear you, tell us your supernatural stories on Parashare. All right, when we come back, we got NDEs, we got ghosts, we got Frankenstein, and we'll talk about breakfast. Why not? It's right here on a Supernatural News Wednesday with your friends Tim and Mallie, right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. With me is Mallie Fox. Mallie, guess what?
How's that for a guess what?
Okay, all right. It's just that time again. We'll just rip the Band-Aid off.
Thank you.
There you go. You're welcome. It's time now for us to dig into AI news. Literally just digging in. The wound.
Yeah.
Mallie loves this segment.
Yes, I do. It's my favorite segment of the day.
Their favorite segment of the day. We'll
Mm-hmm.
start off with a woman's report of a St. Pete home invasion. We're going to Florida. Normally we do this on Tuesdays, but we're extending over to Wednesdays, where an assault was fabricated with an AI photo, according to police. A St. Petersburg woman is facing charges after reporting to police that she was attacked and sharing an AI-generated image of the suspect. What started as a frightening 911 call turned out to be completely fake. St. Petersburg police say a woman who claimed a stranger broke into her apartment and attacked her made up the story and even created a fake suspect image using artificial intelligence. Last month, officers responded to a reported break-in at the apartment of 32-year-old Brooke Chenot. The victim, now suspect, had shown proof of images of a person that she didn't know and had entered her home forcibly and possibly injured her getting inside of her house, said Ashley Limardo, who is public information officer with the St. Petersburg Police Department. Investigators say forensic teams and a canine unit searched the area but found no suspect. A few hours later, Chenot's boyfriend called police back, saying she hadn't told them everything. When officers returned, Chenot claimed that she had also been sexually assaulted. Oh boy, she's digging a hole here.
Yeah.
That's when a detective was called to the scene and immediately became suspicious of the photo that Chenot had provided. That detective immediately saw the proof or the evidence that she provided and immediately knew that this was part of a TikTok trend that we're seeing online, Lamardo said. According to police, investigators later found the AI-generated image saved in Chenot's deleted files, created days before she even called 911. It's a waste of resources. We had officers go out to this home twice in one day, Lamardo said. Lamardo said creating fake pictures like the one that Chenot used isn't difficult. It can take just a few minutes with AI software. Even though the suspect is false, even though we suspect it's false, we're still going to handle it if we believe it's a real case. We go through the process and the evidence until we have proof that it's not, Lamardo said. Police say Chenot is now charged with 2 misdemeanors and is currently out on bond. 10 Tampa Bay News reached out to Chenot for comments, but the phone number she gave police, believe it or not, is fake as well. It's disconnected. Isn't that something?
Yep. It's kind of scary to think about it.
It is, but and I get that people want attention, but come on, there's other ways to get attention, right?
Yeah. But think about if that cop wasn't like thorough, if it was just one that just jumped to conclusions like, oh, I've got this photo, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And then you put that out into the public. You ask people to,
Mm-hmm.
if you've seen this person, do you have any, it just, and then
Mm-hmm.
you start using public resources to try and find, this particular person and then you're, then what, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're wasting valuable time, resources, and then you've got a big mess. And
Right.
I just I don't get why people do that. I mean, I get that you think you're bringing attention upon yourself, right? But the idea is for what? And to what
Right.
gain? To what, I just
Mm-hmm. And the problem nowadays, I feel like, is that we jump to conclusions and we'll jump to the conclusion that they're guilty. But even if we find out that it was all a scam and that, they are innocent, we're not going to remember that they're innocent. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it kind of it gets brushed over that it was all false. Because I feel like that happens a lot, that it's so sensationalized that they're guilty of it, and then when we find out that the story was false, that we kind of forget that, or it gets brushed over, or that it's not brought to our attention, so we just remember the bad part of it,
Right.
of that person, so their reputation is kind of tarnished.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's a sad situation indeed, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't get why. I don't get
Mm-hmm.
why people want to get that many people moving. Maybe it's a thrill. Maybe it's a thrill, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a thrill to see people jump,
Right.
It's sad indeed, you know. Uh, very, very sad indeed. That's for sure. Um all right. I guess our next story is, if I can get my iPad to move. I have all kinds of technical difficulties going on here, as you know, Mallie.
Mm-hmm.
Our next story has to do with a robotic chair. Like, again, if I can get the story up here. Well, I tell you what, we'll go on to our Coca-Cola story. Coca-Cola has once again peeved off the Christmas crowd.
Uh-oh.
It's true. Coca-Cola had the opportunity to turn away from AI this year. Last year they aired an AI ad, completely AI, for the first time in its history. For countless people, spotting the Coca-Cola Christmas advertisement signals the real beginning of the festive period, besides Mariah Carey screaming into a microphone, right?
Oh, yeah.
Those iconic red lorries and the memorable "Holidays Are Coming" jingle spark excitement for mulled wine gift wrapping sessions, and it says here pulling crackers. It's a British story. Mm-hmm. The beverage giant faced criticism last year for incorporating artificial intelligence into its yearly Christmas commercial, with critics arguing that ditching human creativity stripped away the advertisement's magic. This year, however, the company still went with its AI approach once again, crafting its seasonal campaign using artificial intelligence, showcasing a fleet of lorries journeying through the snowy terrain that illuminates in their wake, while creatures including bears, penguins, pups, and a sloth gaze in.
Oh, I love sloth.
Even AI sloths?
Well, I don't know about AI sloths, but I love sloths.
Yeah, sloths are fun. Reddit users were swift to slam the advertisement, with one declaring Coca-Cola doesn't want to pay working artists to promote real creativity. They continued, working skilled people are the middleman they want to cut out of the enterprise. Another commented, do companies think generative AI is impressive? Like, it's a cool concept on its own. It's pretty widely known as a shortcut that circumvents doing real work and paying talented artists. I'm not sure why a brand would be proud to make an AI commercial, because the audience certainly isn't proud of you for doing it. A third said, literally just air the one with the polar bear. We know it, we love it, and we don't need anything else. The more these weirdos try to force AI down our throats, the more alienated they become from a part of their consumer base who is aware enough to care. Another said, why would you replace the same ad that you have run for decades at this point for AI, no less? I will put my hands up and say, use it for my dev job as part of my workflow development job. But this, LOL, hilarious. They must be getting subsidies or whatever, was claiming royalties for years, must have been making bank. However, some viewers defended the company's stance, with one writing, good on them for sticking to their guns about this ad. I'm always one that believes that everyone has a right to use AI, however they very well please, be it a company or single individual. This whole ridiculous hatred towards Coca-Cola's right to use it to make a whole holiday ad, which still doesn't really look bad at all, by the way, really continues to show, this is somebody's opinion, I think, shows how much people should exercise that right to use it however very well they please. And that's something I would gladly support, said another person. The drinks giant acknowledged that last year's commercial faced backlash, but maintained this year's version was an improvement. Both advertisements were created by Los Angeles AI studio Secret Level, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Last year, we decided to go all in, and it worked well for us, said Pratik Takar, who is global VP and head of generative AI at Coca-Cola, who shared it with the publication. Consumer engagement was very high, according to the executive. Yes, some parts of the industry were not pleased. We were using 100% generative AI film, but that's part and parcel of doing something pioneering, you went on to say. We understand that concern, but we need to keep moving forward and pushing the envelope. On the broader application of AI, he added, the genie is out of the bottle and you're not going to put it back in. I like those polar bears.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ones that were opening the Coke and taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, AI is so overdone these days. There's something to be said about practical effects.
Mm-hmm. They need to go back to do like the 80s Christmas commercials, like what was the Anheuser-Busch, the big horses with
like
the Christmas lights?
The Clydesdale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Clydesdale ones, or like the Folgers where Peter's home, like that one. Remember that one where like the college kid comes home?
Have you seen the SNL parody on that? The Peter's home and oh, you haven't seen the parody of that?
No, I didn't. No, I haven't.
I'm going to find it and send it to you. It is one of the funniest SNL bits ever because it turns out the brother and sister are incestuous.
Oh, God.
And Christmas morning. And the parents, and they're like, we're moving away to Zimbabwe together and we're gonna get married. And they're like, no, you're not.
Oh.
It's really funny.
But anyway, those old-fashioned Christmases before special effects started happening. Good God.
And they're trying to make out with each other while they're drinking coffee. It's really funny. It's one of the
I do like that SNL Christmas one where it's like the mom does all of this stuff and she's like, and I got a robe, or I got nothing, or something about her stocking.
Yeah. SNL does some really funny Christmas stuff. They really do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Folgers. Yeah. That Folgers ad is one of the funniest ads ever. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. You know, the practical stuff, it hits home because it feels real, you know, and
yes,
that's the thing about an AI ad. An AI ad doesn't feel real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. Maybe it does to a new generation that's on, playing games all the time and interacting with it all the time. It feels real.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's a certain cutoff there, and I hate to be the old man shouting at the clouds. There's a cutoff there that it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel genuine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You'd just rather see something real,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more emotionally stirred when I see a real ad with real kids and a real Santa.
Mm-hmm.
I am watching an AI ad.
Yeah. It's the magic of childhood.
Yeah, exactly. All right, our next story, Mal, one more. Speaking of getting emotionally stirred,
mm-hmm.
AI deathbots are letting people speak to the dead. Not the newest story on the block, but there's a twist. Researchers expose the truth behind the digital afterlife. AI is now entering one of the most sensitive frontiers of human life, death, memory, and grief. A growing number of technology startups are developing what they now call deathbots, which are AI-powered chatbots designed to simulate the voice, tone, and personality of those who have passed away. These systems promise comfort for the bereaved, but also raise serious ethical and emotional questions. A study recently published in the journal Memory, Mind, and Media took a closer look at how these technologies work and what it's really like to talk to the dead through data. Conducted by researchers from King's College London and Cardiff University. The study is part of a project titled Synthetic Pasts, which explores how technology is reshaping the way we remember and preserve personal stories. According to The Conversation, deathbots are AI-powered avatars that utilize digital traces, text messages, social media posts, emails, and even voice recordings to recreate a dead person's persona. The goal is to let loved ones engage with these digital versions, hearing familiar phrases or tones as if he or she were still alive. but its authors, Eva Nieto McAvoy and Jenny Kidd, call the experience both fascinating and unsettling. Creating their own digital doubles from data they uploaded, they found that while such systems can replicate speech patterns, the discussions often felt mechanical and emotionally off-key. In various test conversations, the AI replied with responses that felt awkward or inappropriate, using happy emojis or upbeat phrases when discussing death. One chatbot responded, "Oh, hun, it's not something I'd wish for anyone to dwell on. Let's chat about something a bit cheerier, yeah?" That's just kind of creepy, too. These interactions, the researchers noted, underline the limitations of what they refer to as synthetic intimacy. That's a creepy phrase. While comfort may be found in these conversations for some users, others would find the artificiality and emotionlessness of such talk disturbing. While AI can preserve voices and stories, experts say it cannot create the depth and unpredictable, hard word for me to say, unpredictability of human relationships. The so-called digital resurrection, they argue, risks understanding death itself, replacing the finality of loss with the illusion of endless presence. As Wendy Chun, a scholar of technology, notes, true memory depends upon the capacity to forget. Digital systems can't forget. The endless replay of the dead, researchers caution, could distort how people process grief and remembrance. The study concludes that AI cannot actually revive the dead. Instead, it simply reverts back to our own words, data, and emotions filtered through the lenses of algorithms and business interests. Those systems tell us more about ourselves and about the platforms that profit from our memories than about the ghosts they claim to let us talk to, the researchers wrote. So here's the question, Mal. You are, let's say, end of life. You decide,
okay,
I want something to pass down to my kids. I want them to have a remembrance of me. Do you engage with one of these death bots? Do you decide I'm going to pour my memories into one of these? Not necessarily let them have the social memories, the social media memories, but maybe you give a little something of yourself so that the kids have something digital to remember you by?
I don't think so. Because I don't think they'll be able to heal if they have something like that. I think it makes it harder for them to move on.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, they'll have like maybe letters or little pieces of me with, jewelry or something, or I don't know, but the AI stuff, I think it makes it harder for them to heal.
Would you want that from your own parents? Would you want something like this from your own parents?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, I already have it that's a good question because I already have, like, when my parents leave me voicemail,
Yeah.
like messages, I already have saved some just in case.
So have I.
And yeah, and I've saved like letters that they've written. I've saved certain things, and I've done the same with my grandparents. But I don't know, maybe because I'm old school, so I haven't really thought about AI stuff, but I don't know, because I just feel like that makes it harder for people to move on. Like it makes it harder to heal. I don't know. It's just weird because I know too many people that I think they would rely on it too much. Like every day they would be like glued to it, Just they
It,
would become almost addicted to it.
it could, but there's, I wish I would have had more recordings from like my stepdad. I wish I would have had more recordings from my grandparents. I wish
Hmm.
I would have had more from certain people who have passed. Um, I wish I would have been more of a pack rat. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and I wish that maybe some of that technology would have been around when they were still here.
Hmm.
Because maybe I now that and I guess yeah, I wonder if I would have processed the grief the same because I wouldn't have. I don't think I would have dwelled on that technology when they passed. I wouldn't have sat and played stuff over and over again. because
Mm-hmm.
I know me, I would have processed the grief healthily, if that's a word. Uh,
Right, right.
but but at the same time, um, I would have 20 years down the line, 10 years, 20 years down the line, like to been gone back. And on those days, on the anniversaries, on the birthdays, on days where it's a remembrance day, I would like to
Mm-hmm.
pull up their image and voice and like to see
Mm-hmm.
them one more time,
Yeah.
and just be able to remember, you know. That's
Mm-hmm.
just me.
Right.
That I do get sentimental on those,
Yeah.
and not, because I do have some friends that get too buried in their grief, and
Oh
that
yeah.
hurts me. And there are people that do get too buried in their grief, and that's not the tool for them. That's not definitely not the tool for them.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of us who do properly deal with their grief, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It could be just one more tool in the toolbox, where as long as it's not used too soon, as long as it's a tool that's used later in the grieving process, I think it could actually be somewhat handy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It If it's used maybe at the 10-15 year mark, where you say, I just, not that you
So then
necessarily.
do you have like a so then is there like a clause that you're not some type of clause where it's like, okay, you can't be given it until like 10 years
I
down the line?
I think there
You know what
should
I
be.
mean?
Yeah, I think there should be. Like, they don't release it to you until the 10, 15
Mm-hmm.
year mark.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think there should be. I think it should be a thing where time should pass before you're given it. Almost like a time capsule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it has to stay buried for a while. Because otherwise, why?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like picking the wound before it's healed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what can that death bot do for you? I hate the word, but what
Right.
what else is a death bot there for, if not to make you try and think that that person's still alive?
Mm-hmm.
If it's meant as a remembrance, well, then time capsule it, put it away for a while. um Let the person grieve, let the wounds heal, and then use it as a remembrance 10, 15, 20 years down the line, and bring it out for future generations. You know what? This was my grandfather. This is how, so you get an idea when that future generation comes along. When my kids are old enough, when my grandkids are old enough, I can say, you know what? This was my grandfather. So they get
Mm-hmm.
an idea of what my grandfather's personality was.
Yeah. Because I always liked it when I don't see it as much anymore, but when it first came out, it was that animation of the old photos. So you could see how, like, your great grandfather, that picture, how you could see how he would move.
Yeah, the only
You
thing
know,
is it got wildly inaccurate. Like the face would change and it wouldn't be them.
yeah, right. But no, I totally agree. But there was like some of them that it looked kind of neat, how it could kind of just move just a little bit. And I thought that was really neat. And then it kind of went away. Like you don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
But for like a few months, it was popular. I mean, that would be kind of neat. But I just know too many people that would take advantage of it right away if they had access to it right away, that they would not heal
Yeah.
because they're the type of people like every day they are posting on Facebook or social media something reminds them of their deceased relative and they have to announce it and they're not healing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
they would have to not have access to this death bot or whatever it's called for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so entrenched in grief that you can't see the other side. Yeah. And
Right, right.
that's not what that's for. That's not what that's
Yes.
for. But yeah, you should time capsule it. You should put it away for a
Hmm.
while, and just say you can't. Maybe you have to have a psychologist or psychiatrist sign off on it, and
Hmm.
just say
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
they're far enough along in the process where they can have it.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what it takes. I don't know. Um, Speaking of death and near death, there's a woman who went through two near death experiences and reveals what her version of the afterlife is really like. I say her version. The headline says what the afterlife is really like. I'll say her version because we all, again, as we've learned from many of these stories, it's pretty much subjective, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Deborah Prum described her out of body experiences that she had. The woman who went through not one but two near-death experiences has shared what she saw on the other side. Deborah Prum's first near-death experience took place in the 1980s when she went into early labor with her son. She experienced dangerous high blood pressure, low blood cell counts, liver problems, and endured seizures at the time of the scary ordeal. As doctors rushed to save her and her son's life, Deborah says she had an out-of-body experience and found herself looking down from the hospital ceiling. During the time, she felt no pain or emotion. All of a sudden, the essence of my being was in the corner of a room looking down at everything, the Virginia mother recalled in a Tales of Resilience YouTube video. There we go. I really didn't feel much of anything at that point, she went on. I felt totally dispassionate, just observing the situation and then nothing. It was at this point that Deborah nearly died. She was so sick that she was put into a 3-day coma because so much of her body systems were shutting down. While it was touch and go for her, fortunately, she survived. And this wasn't the only close encounter with death that Deborah had, as 20 years later, she was involved in a near-fatal car crash. Deborah and her husband were in the car approaching a green light at an intersection when she saw some lights coming at us, as she puts it. Next thing you know, I'm in this yellow space as I dropped into a vat of yellow pudding, she shared.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I was completely surrounded by this kind of yellow glow. Like her first near-death experience, Deborah said she didn't feel an attachment to herself, but felt the most profound peace and almost a quiet joy. I still feel guilty about it, but I didn't want to come back, she admitted. I don't know where it was, but I didn't want to come back. Then I sort of reluctantly came back to this crazy scene of my husband's glasses broken, blood coming down his face, and he's really pale. At one point, she said she felt a man holding her hand, but her husband said he didn't see anyone do this. That was always the mysterious part, Deborah said of this. It took Deborah several months to recover from the crash. Well, it took a long time. She did go on to make a full recovery. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody kind of goes through their own deal. You know, there's a woman right below this story who goes through her own thing. I mean, her story is kind of, she's describing something like Disneyland, you know, seeing all these different lights like Disneyland, and but everybody kind of describes something a little bit different and a little bit strange, but yet they all describe this overwhelming peace that they have and not wanting to come back, but having to come back all the same. It's, I don't know. But yet they all have more to finish once they get here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I'm still waiting to meet the one person who comes back and just goes, no, I didn't have anything to finish. I just decided I wanted to come back. You know?
Yeah.
You know, pretty much my life was over. I didn't, you know, I don't have anything to do, but you know, I came back anyways. The one that still is very eerie to me, not a near-death experience, but you know, I know my life is over. I'm ready to go, was Prince. Have you ever heard the stories of that before he died?
Mm-mm.
He was talking like up to a year before he died. Like he was like, I don't feel like I belong here anymore. Like he was just unmotivated. I mean, he had released music, but he's like, nah, I don't really have anything left to do. And it's kind of like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. And it's just like, okay, but maybe that's depression, right?
Right.
Maybe that's, maybe it's because he was on a fair amount of pain medication. Maybe that's the medication talking. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
want to search for answers as to what that is, but maybe it really was, you know what? I've accomplished everything I need to accomplish in this life, and I'm done. I'm just done. And it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to hear that from somebody, that I'm done, especially someone who's
Yeah.
prolific, someone who
Mm-hmm.
would skip sleep for days on end and sit up and write. He was so prolific. He would just write and record and write and record and write and record. But to hear him say, I don't have anything, I'm done. It's time to go.
Yeah.
You just go, are you kidding? No, done. And without, like constant funnel coming from that source, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, life's not worth it anymore. I'm done. I've come what I've done what I've come to do. I'm done.
Almost like when you hear the stories about people who have like soul contracts, and when they're done, they're done. So like maybe he had a soul contract at this age. I'm done. It's time to move on. And so
Yeah.
when he reached that, it was like, all right.
To me, and this is just me, nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's unimaginable because I wake up in the morning and I think, okay, but there's little animals outside to be fed. There's things to be accomplished. There's things
Mm-hmm.
in the world that still need to turn.
Mm-hmm.
How are you done? There's so much
Yeah.
to get done. How are you done? When you look at the world as more than just you, there's so much that needs to be done. How are you ever done? I don't get that mentality. I don't know. It's just me. But maybe, it's easy to focus when you're looking at just your singularity of what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just me. Okay, let's talk about the Savannah Theater and their chilling past. There's a feature out there talking about the spirits, fires, and phantom performers of the Savannah Theater. The Savannah Theater has been entertaining audiences for more than 200 years, but some say the performers never really left the theater. We go to Savannah, Georgia, where the Savannah Theater has been entertaining audiences for more than 200 years, but some say the performers never really left. One of America's oldest theaters, it's a place where history and the paranormal take center stage. The Savannah Theater, built in 1818, is often considered one of the oldest theaters in the United States. Historian and author Ryan Dunn explained the Savannah Theater was built in 1818 and is one of the one of the stories is the oldest theater in America. That didn't make sense. There are the
Mm-hmm.
oldest continuously. They are the oldest continuously operating. This story is not making any sense.
Mm-mm.
But you do have the Walnut Street Theater in Philadelphia, built 9 years earlier in 1809. So the Savannah Theater is still at least the second oldest theater in the whole United States. Patrick Welsh of the Paranormal Society of Savannah added, what I think makes it interesting is all the actors that have come and gone there and how old it is. In its early years, the theater hosted some of the most famous performers of the 19th century, including legendary British actress Fanny Kemble, who graced its stage in the 1830s. Of course, the world famous Fanny Kemble. You know her from stage and screen.
Are you being sarcastic? Because I don't know who that is.
I'm completely being sarcastic.
Okay, because I'm like, Hey, side note, does Patrick Burns and Marley, are they still doing the ghost hunts in Savannah?
I think
Are they still doing the tour, the ghost tours?
I think they are. I know that
Okay.
isn't Diana and her husband doing them too?
Oh yeah, but don't they do them in like I thought it wasn't Savannah, but I thought it was it Roswell, Georgia?
Or maybe it's Roswell. Okay. Yeah. I mean, didn't you have a Fanny Kemble poster in your room as a kid? I know I did. Who the hell is Fanny Kemble?
Apparently, she must be someone famous, and I guess if we were from Savannah, we would know who she is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know who Fanny Farmer is. I had a lot of chocolate when I was a kid, but I don't know what.
Yeah. Or Frances Farmer. I know who she is.
Yes, I know who Frances Farmer is, but I don't know what a
Mm-hmm.
Fanny Kemble is. 1830. Am I supposed to know who a stage actor from 1830 is? Are you kidding me? Dunn noted back in the old days, in the 1800s, you didn't have. Maybe Abraham Lincoln had wet dreams about Fanny Kemble, but I didn't. Dunn noted back in the old days, in the 1800s, you didn't have television, and so they needed entertainment. So that theater was probably the highlight of Savannah. He said, I bet it was. But the theater's journey hasn't always been glamorous. It burned down 3 times, 1827, 1906, and 1948. Evidently, a bucket of water was not nearby.
Yeah.
The Savannah Theater. Each fire left its mark, and some say the spirits of those lost in the flames still linger. The first fire was September of 1906, and during that fire, we did have a young actress die in the fire, Dunn said. There have been a lot of stories about her being seen on stage. Employees would have their name called out backstage, and a female voice may turn around, but nobody was there. And a lot of people that were patrons would see her appear at the stage left exit door in a white dress. They're always wearing white. She'd go right towards the door and then disappear. The 1948 fire claimed the life of a young boy named Benjamin. People rushing out of the theater, and the poor kid got trampled, Dunn said. So a lot of people have seen him. He turned on the lights on and off. He pushed the chairs in and out. He's a considerate guy, I guess.
Yeah.
She'd seen the chairs move by themselves. So he's been known to haunt the upstairs balcony, too. Today, the Savannah Theater stands as a beautiful example of 1940s Art Deco design, restored to its mid-century elegance, with gleaming neon lights welcoming guests each night. But along with its rich history comes stories of the unexplained. For more than 200 years, there have been reports of ghostly encounters, shadowy figures spotted in the balcony, unexplained footsteps echoing backstage, and chilling voices calling out in the darkness. Dunn shared one eerie experience. There's a female we got on recording right by the stage. You can hear her singing like she's warming up. It lasts about 14 seconds. Completely clear, we got an apparition of a white apparition peeking around the corner of the stage, left exit door that disappears in the doorway. And that's the same area where they had seen this lady appear and disappear. So we personally had a lot of experiences, but considering the 2 deaths in the theater and the fact that it is such an old historic piece of Savannah, I think it holds a lot of energy. For those curious about the paranormal, the theater offers haunted tours. Guests are armed with ghost hunting equipment like EMF detectors, spirit boxes, infrared thermometers, and dowsing rods, tools that allow them to connect with whatever or whoever still lingers there. The theater's owner, Matt Meese, shared his own chilling encounter during renovations. He says, I was in the theater late, one night, and I just kind of felt this weird kind of feel, like a cold feeling. And the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And then I hear this kind of weird screeching sound, like a high-pitched sound. So I dropped my tools, and it was terrifying. I can't even explain it. It's just a feeling I had. I didn't see anything. I just felt it. Patrick Welsh of the Paranormal Society of Savannah summed it up. A lot of times they have something to say, but they don't know how to communicate. And luckily, the people that are there know how to communicate with the spirits. And they've got a lot to say. And they're not done, he said, and they're ready to put a show on for you. If you want to experience the haunting for yourself, Ghost Coast Paranormal offers guided tours and investigations. Their digital business card includes all the information you need and where to book. You can also book directly through the Savannah Theater. And I tell you what, I'll post this in the description of the program so you can get both the digital card to look up Ghost Coast Paranormal and the Haunted Theater tour booking. So there you go. All right, Mallie.
Mm-hmm.
As I bring up the next story and dream about Fanny Thimble or whatever her name was.
I thought you were going to say Fanny chocolates.
Yeah, oh, that too. Fanny Farmer. Oh, Fanny Farmer chocolate.
Are they still around?
They are. You can get them at certain spots. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still around. Yeah. Unlike Fanny Thimble and her fan club, I'm sure. I wonder if you can get a cheesecake shot of Fanny Thimble these days. I'll have to Google that. Our question now is, could Frankenstein's monster ever actually function in real life? Mary Shelley's iconic tale raises some interesting ethical questions, but is it really possible to create a person out of parts? You know, the new Frankenstein movie, I believe, is it out yet or is it coming on Netflix?
That is a good question because I just saw the preview for it on Netflix yesterday and I was like, oh, that looks good. But now I don't remember if it's coming or if it's out.
Yeah, I think it's coming soon. I think it's supposed to be maybe this month or next month. Yeah. Michelle Spear and Allison Fulford go at it, and they talk about whether Frankenstein's creature is coming back to life again. Okay, it says here, as Guillermo del Toro's new adaptation of Mary Shelley's Gothic masterpiece airs on Netflix, we provide an anatomist's perspective of her tale of reanimation. And could an assembled body ever breathe, bleed, or think? When Shelley wrote Frankenstein in 1818, anatomy was a science on the edge of revelation and respectability. Public dissection theaters drew crowds. Body snatchers supplied medical schools with illicit corpses, and electricity promised new insights into the spark of life. Shelley's novel captured this moment perfectly. Victor Frankenstein's creation was inspired by real debates. Luigi Galvani's experiments on frog legs twitching under electric charge and Giovanni Aldani's demonstrations making executed criminals grimace with applied current. It sounded like a great time to be alive, didn't it? The early 19th century audiences, life might indeed have seemed a matter of anatomy plus electricity. I mean, you get the idea, you know, if you pulse electric current, things will move. Of course they're going to, because electricity makes nerves jump, right? That's the idea. That's the idea of life. The first problem for any modern Frankenstein is practical: how to build a body. In Shelley's novel, Victor collected bones from charnel houses and disturbed with profane fingers the tremendous secrets of the human frame. That's a quote. Selecting fragments of cadavers with care for their proportion and strength. From an anatomical perspective, this is where the experiment fails before it begins. Once removed from the body, tissues rapidly deteriorate. Muscle fibers lose tone, vessels collapse, and cells deprived of oxygen enter necrosis within minutes. Even refrigeration can't preserve viability for transportation beyond a few hours. To reattach limbs or organs would demand surgical anastomosis. Anastomosis. There you go. I get it. I knew I'd get it. Precise reconnection of arteries, veins, and nerves use microsutures, finer than a human hair. The notion that one could sew together entire bodies with instruments of life and restore circulation across so many junctions defies both physiology and surgical practice. Shelley's description of construction is vague. We estimate that the limbs alone would require over 200 surgical connections. Each piece of tissue would have to be matched to avoid immune rejection, and everything would need to be kept sterile and supplied with blood to stop the tissue from dying. So let's assume that the parts settle into place. Could electricity reanimate the body? Well, Galvani's twitching frogs misled many into believing so. Electricity stimulates nerve membranes, triggering existing cells to fire, a fleeting simulation of life, not its restoration. Defibrillators work on this principle. A well-timed shock can reset a fibrillating heart because the organ is already alive. Its tissue still capable of conducting signals. Once cells die, however, their membranes break down and the body's internal chemistry collapses. No current, however strong, can restore that balance. Even if a monster could be made to move, could it think? The brain is our most hungry organ, demanding constant oxygen-rich blood and glucose for energy. A living brain's vital functions only work under tightly controlled body temperature and depend on the circulation of fluids, not just blood, but cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, too, pumped under appropriate pressure, delivering oxygen and carrying away wastes. So brain tissue can stay alive for only 6 to 8 hours once it's removed from the body. To keep it going for that long, it has to be cooled on ice or placed in a special oxygen-rich solution. Now, during that time, the brain cells can still work for a while. They can send signals and they can release chemicals. Cooling the brain is already used in medicine. For example, after a stroke or in premature babies, to protect the brain and reduce damage. So in theory, cooling a donor brain before a transplant could help it survive a little bit longer. If we can transplant faces, hearts, and kidneys, why couldn't we do it with brains? In theory, a rapidly transplanted brain could have its vessels connected to a new body. But the severed spinal cord would leave the body paralyzed without sensation and requiring artificial ventilation. With circulation restored, pulsing CSF flow, and an intact brainstem, arousal and wakefulness might be possible. But without sensory input, could such a being have complete consciousness? As the organ for every memory, thought, and action we make, receiving a donor brain would be confusing, programmed with another mind's personality and legacy of memories. Could new memories form? Yes, but only those born with a body severely limited by the absence of movement or sensation. Controversial surgeon Sergio Canavero has argued that human head transplants may enable extreme rejuvenation. But beyond the ethical alarms, this would require reconnecting all peripheral nerves, not just joining the spinal cord, a feat far beyond current capability. Now, they talk about life support and not resurrection. Modern medicine can replace, repair, or sustain many parts once considered vital. We can transplant organs, circulate blood through machines, and ventilate lungs indefinitely. But these are acts of maintenance and not creation. In intensive care units, the boundaries between life and death are defined not by the beating heart, but by brain activity. Once this ceases irreversibly, even the most elaborate support systems can only preserve the appearance of life. Shelley subtitled her novel The Modern Prometheus for a reason. It's not just a story about science's ambitions, but about its responsibility. Frankenstein's failure lies not in his anatomical ignorance, but in his moral blindness. He creates life without understanding what makes it human. 2 centuries later, we still wrestle with similar questions. Advances in regenerative medicine, neural organoids, and synthetic biology push at the boundaries of what life really means. But they also remind us that vitality cannot be reduced to mechanism alone. Anatomy, I'll get it right, shows us how the body works. It cannot tell us why life matters. So there you go. That's why Frankenstein doesn't work. Mm-hmm. It's a little involved. Mm-hmm. But once, essentially, to wrap that kind of up, once you take things out of an initial body, it can only be maintained. It can't be grown. Mm-hmm. With that, I'll take a sip and tell you that we have a Bigfoot story this week. A driver, Mallie, witnesses a Bigfoot crossing a highway in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I bet you Eric Altman's all excited.
I was just going to ask you. I wonder if he's heard this story.
Maybe he was the one chasing it across the road.
Yeah.
Bet you that's why I crossed the road. It was probably like, get away from me, Eric Altman. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something very unusual was spotted crossing Interstate 80 in Center County recently, and nobody is quite sure what it was. The witness, who chose to remain anonymous, save for the initials BG, stated in a report to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization that the incident had taken place on October 4th at 5:30 p.m. It's important to mark the time. It was dinner time for Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. He had been approaching marker 169 around 11 and a half miles northeast of Bellefonte when he noticed some sort of creature walking upright along the right-hand shoulder. I immediately thought, what the hell is he doing? He's going to get hit, the man wrote. It's good to be concerned about Bigfoot safety, first of all, Mallie. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. You care.
I care. Then, without warning, the figure walked out onto the road in front of traffic. The witness described it as completely dark, all the same color, with a slender, slim build and anomalously long arms. As it moved, it seemed to glide in a very peculiar fashion, making its way straight through the guardrail without even breaking stride, as if it had passed right through it. Within seconds, it had completely disappeared. I just want to add, I know what I saw, but I don't know what I saw, the witness wrote. I'm an avid hunter with 50 plus years in the woods. This was not a bear. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
When a BFRO investigator followed up on the case, they remarked that the witness had seemed sincere and very credible. As things stand, however, exactly what he had seen crossing the road that day remains a total mystery. So we take a swing and we say Bigfoot, but what it was exactly, not quite sure.
We don't know. Right.
We go from Bigfoot crossing the road to get to the other side to the world's largest spider web discovered inside a cave in Europe. Want to see what this thing looks like, Mel? When you take a really good look at the inside of this spider web, to me, it looks like the Walmart logo. You got to really look at it. It might be matrixing a little bit, but take a look in the center of that spider web. Do you see the Walmart logo? Like when you go to the app?
I've never been to the app, so I don't know what it looks like.
All right. You know the blue and orangish yellow logo?
I know that I mean, I've seen a Walmart sign, so I know it's white and blue.
Here, let me see if I can pull it up. I'll pull it up on my phone real quick, and I'll try to show you. Now, see, I'm influencing the jury here when I do this, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
Let me see here. Talk amongst yourselves. Here's a topic.
Keep on talking.
Wheat cakes. They're neither wheat nor cakes. Discuss. Okay. So, why can I not? Sure, when I want the Walmart logo, I can't get the Walmart logo.
I mean, that was a big ass spider web that you showed me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a huge spider web. Okay, here we go. All right. So here's the Walmart logo. You see the
yellow flower looking thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Now look in the center of the spider web. Do you see it?
Nope.
Okay. Great. That's wonderful. It was just me then. Never mind.
Well, I also had your ring light reflecting on it, so maybe that's why.
Oh, okay. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can hold it at an angle.
We're fine.
Hold on here.
Still don't see it.
Still don't see it? Wait a minute.
No.
See it now?
Nope. But I'm also that person that doesn't see like the big. Why you're pointing to the guy? Okay, hold on. No. No, I don't see it, sweetie.
No,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's
I'm sure everybody else is going to see it, and then
it'll be as like it's right there.
Told I'm blind,
no,
which I kind of am. So
that's all right. Well, the enormous web structure is thought to contain more than 111,000 individual spiders in this one web. So Merry Christmas if you got arachnophobia. You too can walk into that sucker and go, yeah. And
I hate it when spider webs touch my face, though, because then I feel like you can't get it off.
Yeah. That's kind of a eerie feeling, isn't it? Walking into a spider web is bad enough at the best of times. But spare a thought for anyone unfortunate enough to step into this particular cave without realizing what's lurking inside. Situated on the border between Greece and Albania, the permanently pitch black cave is home to a spider web that happens to cover 1,140 square feet, and which contains over 111,000 spiders. Fun stuff.
Dang.
The web is made up of thousands of individual funnel-shaped webs. The natural world still holds countless surprises for us. Study lead author István Jurek of the Sapientia Hungarian University of Transylvania in Romania told Live Science, "If I were to attempt to put into words all the emotions that surged through me when I saw the web, I would highlight admiration, respect, and gratitude. Not to mention maybe some bug spray. You might want some of that.
Right?
Yeah. You have to experience it to truly know what it feels like," he said. Unexpectedly, the huge web, which was built primarily by just two species of common spider, which have never been documented living together and cooperating like this anywhere else, uncannily. In fact, under normal conditions, these two species might even be expected to eat one another, but they're getting along.
Oh.
So Congress, take note. Often we think we know a species completely, that we understand everything about it, yet unexpected discoveries can still occur, said Jurek. Some species exhibit remarkable genetic plasticity, which typically becomes apparent only under extreme conditions. Such conditions elicit behaviors that are not observed under normal circumstances. So these two species that normally would probably kill each other in the wild and eat each other are made a huge web. And there's 111,000 of them. And they might get pissed off and take over the world. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Kind of sounds like it. Yeah. Arachnophobia. Or wait, what was that movie called? That was about this. Okay.
Yeah, you were right. You got it. I want you to see the cutest little dinosaur skeleton ever, Mallie. It doesn't look like one, but there it is.
It's pretty big.
It is pretty big for a mini T-Rex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we are talking mini T-Rexes here. A new fossil find may finally solve the mystery of the miniature T-Rex. It's the cutest little thing you can take your kids to look at ever. A controversial pint-sized Tyrannosaurus Rex has been at the center of a long-running paleontological dispute. Longest word I'll read today. A new specimen of one of the most controversial species of dinosaur has the potential to overturn decades of research on the T-Rex. Nanotyrannus, which is the miniature T-Rex, has been the center of one of the fiercest debates in paleontology. Scientists have long argued over whether the Nanotyrannus is a separate species or just a young T-Rex. The controversy was ignited in 1999 when the only known fossil of a Nanotyrannus was found to belong to a juvenile. More complete fossils have since failed to produce any conclusive answers because they were all also found to be juvenile. But the debate surrounding the identity of Nanotyrannus may finally be settled. A new fossil specimen described in the journal Nature is the smoking gun researchers have been looking for, an adult Nanotyrannus. So congratulations. That was very Obama of me. So congratulations. Way to go. You found them. Known as the dueling dinosaurs, the fossil preserves an almost complete Nanotyrannus and Triceratops entombed together. They seem frozen in combat. Whether they were actually fighting when they became buried in the Earth's sediment remains to be tested. Although the fossils were discovered in Montana, believe it or not, back in 2006, it was under private ownership until the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences purchased it in 2020. Now accessible to scientists, the true nature of this remarkable fossil can be revealed for the first time. The researchers have confirmed that Nanotyrannus is a separate miniature type of tyrannosaur by demonstrating this species and specimen belong to a nearly fully grown adult. The age and maturity of dinosaurs can be assessed by looking at the inside of their bones, Mallie, in case you were curious.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how they determine. They're saying that this Nanotyrannus in the dueling dinosaurs was at least 14 years old when it died. Researchers also found its rate of growth had slowed significantly in its final years, indicating that the individual was nearly at its full body size. You want to know how small the miniature T-Rex was?
Sure.
It was around 1/10 of the size of a fully grown T-Rex. So there you go. And you may say, well, Tim, how big is a baby elephant? So to speak. The dueling dinosaurs, Nanotyrannus is over 4 meters long and estimated to have weighed over 700 kilograms. That's as heavy as some of the very largest polar bears.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. Some other specimens of Nanotyrannus are even bigger. The almost complete skeleton, known as Jane, discovered in 2001, also in Montana, estimated at over a ton, larger than any land predator alive today. Kind of fun facts, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing you're going to bring up in a bar tomorrow, but
no,
kind of fun stuff. All right. I had told you that humans used to sleep in 2 parts, first sleep and second sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, fall asleep, get up, feel tired in the morning, like you do now. It may seem strange, but the idea of sleeping through the night like we do today is relatively new, believe it or not. According to Darren Rhodes, continuous sleep is a modern habit, not an evolutionary constant, which helps explain why many of us still wake at 3 a.m. and wonder if something's wrong. It might help to know that this is a deeply human experience. If you wake up at 3 a.m., just so you know. For most of human history, a continuous 8-hour snooze was not the norm. Instead, people commonly slept in 2 shifts each night, often called a first sleep and a second sleep. Each of these sleeps lasted several hours, separated by a gap of wakefulness for an hour or more in the middle of the night. Historical records from Europe, Africa, Asia, and beyond describe how, after nightfall, families would go to bed early, then wake around midnight for a while before returning to sleep until dawn. Breaking the night into 2 parts probably changed how time felt. The quiet interval gave nights a clear middle, which can make long winter evenings feel less continuous and easier to manage. The midnight interval was not dead time. It was notice time, which shapes how long nights are experienced. Some people would get up to tend to chores like stirring the fire or checking on animals. Others stayed in bed to pray or contemplate dreams they had just had. Letters and diaries from pre-industrial times mention people sing the quiet hours to read, they don't sing it. They're using the quiet hours to read, write, or even socialize quietly with family or neighbors. Many couples took advantage of this midnight wakefulness for intimacy. There you go. Literature from as far back as ancient Greece poet Homer and Roman poet Virgil contains references to an hour which terminates the first sleep, indicating how commonplace the 2-shift night was. Kind of interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Now, those long, dark winters, this is kind of an extensive article. So I tell you what, I'm going to post this in the description of this program if you want to know more about first sleep, second sleep, and how it kind of works into your body's clock and how it might be, especially if you've got a little bit more time to sleep, how it might be advantageous for you, and how it might be a therapy for insomnia if you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia advises people to leave bed after about 20 minutes awake, do a quiet activity in dim light such as reading, then go back when you feel sleepy.
Okay, because I have insomnia.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh, I don't sleep.
Maybe do a little activity and then go back to bed.
I will give that a try. But I mean, it makes sense if you back in the day, because if you had to feed the animals or stoke the fire, I mean, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
sleep experts are also suggest covering your clock and letting go of time measurement when you're struggling to sleep. So a calm acceptance of wakefulness paired with an understanding of how our minds perceive time may be the surest way to rest again. I'm going to post this so that you guys can, especially if you have issues with sleep. But the idea of breaking up sleep is not an unusual one and may be better for your circadian rhythms. Something to think about. that maybe if you take some extra time at night, first sleep, second sleep, break it up. It doesn't have to be an hour. Maybe it's half hour. Maybe you get up, you take that half hour, you break up that sleep, you go back to sleep. I have pain issues, so I'm up and down all night. But I don't get restful sleep. But I do break up my night. So I do that. I actually have 3 sleeps, believe it or not. So I don't sleep all the way through the night. I haven't had a night where I've slept all the way through in quite some time. So, yeah. All right, it's time now for our palate cleanser, Mal. As we're at the end of the program. After sleep comes breakfast. Right?
Yep.
We're going to talk about happy endings here, so to speak. Right? Yeah. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to get what you need or want. Right? Well, when I say we're talking about breakfast, I'm not talking about your conventional breakfast. I'm talking about a loose pig named Breakfast.
Oh.
Yeah. A pig that got loose named Breakfast. And he caused chaos in a Buffalo neighborhood recently. Let me tell you about Breakfast. An escaped pig went for a rampage through a New York neighborhood and turned out to be a pet belonging to a Buffalo police officer. Yeah. Residents on Victor Place in the Hamlin Park Historic District of Buffalo said their neighborhood erupted into chaos Wednesday afternoon when the large pig ran through the area and chased locals. Videos captured by a witness shows animal control and police officers pursuing the porcine perpetrator. Boy, that's hard to say 10 times fast. Renita Shadwick's video features audio of a police officer identifying the pig as his pet, named Breakfast. Who names their pig after something you may turn them into?
Well, I mean, they've named. I've heard funny names for pigs. So
name them Breakfast, especially if you're going to fall in love with the little guy. I named my chipmunk Spud, but that doesn't mean I'm going to put him in potatoes. Right? The officer said the pig had apparently escaped by going under a fence. Neighbors said the officer eventually captured the pig and took it home. Buffalo does not have any city laws, by the way, expressly prohibiting ownerships of pigs or other farm animals inside the city. Breakfast was not the only wayward pig captured in recent weeks. Oinking Acres Farm Rescue and Sanctuary in Brownsburg, Indiana, recently wrangled a pig that had been on the loose in Indianapolis's Holiday Park for several days and had managed to give rescuers the slip during multiple capture attempts. The sanctuary said the pig will be quarantined, vaccinated, and neutered before the next steps for the animal are determined. But the pig will be safe. Our last story today, and your last palate cleanser, shows that there's never such a thing as too late, Mallie. It's never too late. Even if it's 46 years late.
Okay.
A children's book has been returned to the main library 46 years late. Do you have any outstanding library books?
No, I do not.
You don't? This book, I can't believe somebody brought this back after 46 years, but they did. A former Maine resident returned to the town that she had used to call home so she could return a library book that had been due back 46 years earlier.
Oh.
She came back just to bring the book back, which I thought was sweet. Diana Edwards, a former resident of Camden, Maine, said she was packing up her books for a move from Massachusetts to New Hampshire when she came across a copy of Bunches and Bunches of Bunnies, written by Louise Matthews and illustrated by Jenny Bassett. The book had been checked out from the Camden Public Library and had a due date of August 10th, 1979. Do you remember where you were August 10th of 1979?
No.
I can tell you this much. I was probably celebrating getting out of third grade and dreading going to fourth. And on August 10th, 1979, I was probably playing baseball out in the front yard of my home in Ham Lake. I know I was doing that much. My children and I lived on Pearl Street from the mid 70s to around 1984 when we moved to Vermont. Those bunnies have been traveling with me ever since, Edwards told the Mid-Coast Villager newspaper. Amy Hand, the library's director of youth services, recounted the story of the book's return in an Instagram video. She said the book will be used for future storytime sessions. Now, library officials said the facility no longer has late fees, but even when they were still enforced, the fine, Mallie, was capped at how much, do you think?
If it was capped, I would say, what, like $15 maybe? $20?
You would think it would be pretty steep, right, for 1979? Yeah, 50 bucks. It was capped at $5.
Oh.
Yeah. They said the maximum Edwards would have been asked to pay under the old policy would have been the cost of replacing the book. Edwards said she decided to donate an undisclosed sum to the library in gratitude for the understanding and good cheer of the librarians that she spoke with. So,
that's nice.
Yeah, all's well that ends well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the library got the book back.
Very nice.
There you go. See, it just takes a little patience and time and goodwill.
Yes.
And that's how we end today's program. See, a feel good story. So that'll work for today. All right, folks, that'll do it for today. What do we have going on in your world, man?
I need to take down my Halloween decorations inside the house. I got the outside taken down before the snow hit, but now the interior needs to be put away.
Yes.
Yeah. How about you?
I did that last week, actually.
Yeah.
Fancy.
I'm sorry. I was a little bit busy.
I have a hodgepodge of stuff that needs to come down off the mantle of the fireplace, actually. Currently I have Hermie the dentist. I have the beaver from the beaver popcorn bucket from Naked Gun. I have Halloween dogs, stuffed Halloween dogs from Target. I have a hodgepodge of holiday stuff I need to figure out. I need to get it all off and I have a bunch of pictures on the mantle. I got to figure out, I got to rearrange my mantle. I got to clean the mantle. That's probably this weekend.
Now, are you going to have a break between the Halloween stuff and Christmas, or do you just bring down the Halloween and right away do Christmas?
I think the Halloween stuff's got to come down. We got to do Christmas. I think Hermie the dentist stays. The Halloween dogs go.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you had a break between the two seasons or if you just like the next day replace it with the Christmas stuff, even though it's November.
Yeah, no, it's Hermie the dentist stays up all year round.
Gotcha.
He's just fun. But he's inspirational.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the Halloween dogs, I don't know why the Halloween dogs never came down. They were cute. Yeah, but I think it's just time to retire the Halloween dogs. So yeah, but in the beaver from I just got the beaver from the Naked Gun popcorn bucket. So it because it's funny. I mean, it's a funny joke from Naked Gun. So, and then there's also a little chipmunk statue that's on the mantle too. Yeah, so the mantle needs to be rearranged. You know, little things like that. Got to get ready for Thanksgiving. You can't skip over Thanksgiving. Right?
No, not at all.
No. A lot of people like to skip over Thanksgiving, look forward to Christmas. There is not a Christmas decoration up yet, and there won't be in this house until after Thanksgiving. Refuse to do it. Refuse to do it. Got to observe the holidays properly. And we don't put a Christmas decoration up until Thanksgiving is past. That's how we do it. By the way, I think I told you on Halloween, I watched Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Did you watch Charlie Brown the Halloween?
Yep, I watched
Charlie Brown Halloween though.
I watched It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown on Halloween, and I watched Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, which I'll watch Charlie Brown Thanksgiving again on Thanksgiving. So, and then I'll
what I watched? Oops, sorry, go on.
Oh, I'll watch a Charlie Brown Christmas on Thanksgiving too.
You know what I ended up watching? Because I was trying to get into the Halloween spirit. So I was watching like all these Halloween movies and shows. But I ended up watching the Ichabod Crane one, the Headless Horseman, the Walt Disney one.
Yeah.
Like from like 1940s or 1930s, like the cartoon one.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't seen that one since I was a kid.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah. 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 Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I know, right?
Where
I
did you
found it on the Disney Plus.
on Disney Plus?
Yeah. But I mean, it was like the girl that Ichabod Crane was in love with. She looked like Cinderella because it was like the same characters look like other characters.
Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't seen it since I was a kid. And I think it was like animated in the 1940s, I think. But yeah, with the singing and all that stuff, and because the singing was Bing Crosby.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Disney Plus does some deep dives during the holiday. I mean, they pull out a lot of the a lot of old holiday movies. Yeah, I really do enjoy when they pull out the deep dives on holiday movies and just getting into them. You know, yeah. So yeah, I'll probably do that around the holidays here. I wonder what they're going to pull out for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be fun to dive into that. Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of immerse myself. I like doing that as I get older, just, especially around the holidays, just just kind of relive some of that stuff. So, speaking of reliving stuff around the holidays, we, Thanksgiving this year, look for a Thanksgiving show. There will be a new show on Thanksgiving for you on your Thursday. So we'll be with you on Thanksgiving. If you're not a big football fan, you'll have a new show on Thanksgiving from us. And I believe Christmas this year, if I remember right, Mal, Christmas this year, I'm trying to pull up my calendar real quick as we're talking, is on a Thursday as well, Wednesday and Thursday as well. So we're going to try to have new programs for you on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a schedule to try and get you new programs there. So we'll get it figured out. But yeah, it's kind of a weird schedule this year. So, but we want you to have new programs this year on the holidays so that you're not alone. If you are alone for the holidays, we want our family not to be alone on the holidays. We want to be with you on the holidays. So we always try to figure out a way to be with you on the holidays. So we'll make that our mission. So yeah, most definitely. And of course, coming up at the beginning of the year, Mallie, happy anniversary early.
I know.
It's going to be 20 years. So yeah, looking forward to putting together a big anniversary show. So yeah, lots of good stuff coming up in the future. All right, let's wrap it up. That'll do it for today. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much, folks, for continuing to tune in. Tomorrow on the big program, Nicole Beauchamp will be here. We'll be talking haunted French Quarter hotels. We're going to New Orleans tomorrow, and some interesting stories there. So Nicole Beauchamp on the big program tomorrow. So join us tomorrow for that program. So for Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in, to watch and listen to us, not only at darknessradioshow.com, but on YouTube. Continue to like and subscribe to us there. And for listening to us, wherever you tune in, wherever you get your podcasts, be sure to rate and review us. Give us a 5-star review. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to tell your friends and family. And thank you for continuing to support us here on the best in paranormal podcasting, right here on Darkness Radio.
For more audio and video archives of the show, intriguing content, fun events, and cool swag, check out darknessradioshow.com. The executive producer of Darkness Radio is Troy Palmer. If you enjoyed today's program, please make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. And be sure to join us tomorrow for Haunted French Quarter Hotels with Nicole Beauchamp.